Hello everyone, welcome back to the finale of the 426 Allis Chalmers D-19 pulling tractor build. This episode is kind of a wrap-up episode, obviously, finale. We can talk about a few of the things that I did to it off camera in between the last video and a couple of problems that we had with it. I'm also going to unveil the name of it, talk about why I'm kind of take it for a ride. We took it for a little bit of a spin yesterday. It was a fun time. I'll play some footage of that, and I'm going to fire it up. It's currently about 45 degrees right now. It got down into the lower 30s last night, so it's not, I mean, it's not exactly a cold start, but kind of a cold start for it. It's not a warm start by any means, so we'll do that, and then we'll take it for a ride on it. So, but first I'm going to walk around. I'm going to talk about a few of the things that I did to it here that you guys didn't get to see. So I'm going to start to walk around right here at the foot clutch and brake assembly over here. See the foot clutch? That's just a stopper that I welded on. If you push the clutch all the way in, you'll catch the springs inside of there. So you need to be able to have a stopper, because, you know, me and Tom will know better than not to push it in, but if I let anybody else drive it, obviously. So initially I was going to put a pin here, but you know, once you get to thinking about that, that's not going to work, because then the spring isn't going to work correctly. So anyway, that's what that ended up. Works pretty good, actually. This here, the brake rod there was missing, the spring was missing, all of that bracketry was missing right here. The brake rod is just obviously a piece of hot roll, and then piece of scrap metal that I had. It had the hole, right size hole in it there. On this side I had to drill the hole for the spring, and then the spring is just a spring off of a it's an old trampoline spring. My brother has got like boxes of them things, and they come in handy for like everything. If you guys ever see them and think that they're just worthless springs, grab them. Yeah, many times on the farm, many things that have them springs on them instead of going to buy new springs, and they work perfect for most things. And you just put a wire on them and you can extend them, or you could put two together, make them stronger. It's over with. Do anything with them springs, I'm telling you. Anyway, moving on. The front end here, we got to finish some welding up. Once my brother gets his good welder up here, he'd be able to weld like aluminum and stuff like that, and the rear weight brackets and everything too, he's gonna weld up for me with his good welder. And once you see him up here with that in the next video, you'll see why I rather have him do it and try to do it with my little wire fit. So with that comes, I got some aluminum, the diamond plate that's just gonna fill this in right here. So that'll get welded up and tacked in there somehow. I don't know how I'm gonna attach it yet. You have to figure that out. Anyway, we've got the oil cooler bypassed here. Pretty happy with how that turned out. If you guys remember the blowout in the previous video that we had, that's because this is just a pipe nipple sticking out, and we didn't have a clamp on the threads to hold it on there. We just had a clamp on here. Completely my I dropped the ball on that one. Nobody got hurt, so it's okay. But anyway, now we've got clamp down on the threads to hold it, and clamp down on the flat spot to seal it. Down here I just got a little stupid bracket belt to hold that solid to the engine. I also built a little bracket here for the fuel lines, just to keep them from vibrating and potentially breaking. That would suck, wouldn't it? That right there is just a plate with some pipe threads and pipe fittings. This is just a cheap, also pipe threads, pipe fittings. This right, see what that is? That's a cane stopper. This is actually the fill, engine fill on this engine. But I thought that was pretty funny though. It's a cane stopper, or slip, anti-slip thing. The pipes are just regular old, like the cheapest steel that you can get at the machine shop. I don't know what it'd be considered. You know, it's got the line in it, whatever. cheap, like 20 bucks or something, you know. I don't even think it was that much because it was just one pipe. But then that's just some square plates with a hole drilled in it, and then I welded from the inside. Should be able to see it in here, I believe. That one, in order to make sure it was straight, I had to tack it. This one over here, though, I didn't have to do that. It was a little bit different, but. So I haven't put the side on here because I want to make sure that everything was working right, and we had to get oil up into the oil pressure gauge up there before we tighten it down, you know. So there was that. All right, my line here, my fuel rod or fuel pump throttle rod. If you look at the bends on this thing and where it had to go, I hate to admit it, but that took me a whole day to get that done, get it bent. All the bends and curves on this thing. At this point now, I admit, I could have got this done a little bit better, but all of this would have had to change starting back here in order to get it to all work correctly. And at this point I had put this bend on it and it was like perfect. It opened it up, it closed it. I was like, it's fine. And it is, it looks just fine. I want you guys to, I mean, that's how easy the throttle is. It is nice. Hooked up to the regular linkage, and then I did some measuring and figured out where to drill the hole, which is right here to make it throw correctly, and I did pretty darn good. I think that I could, if I have to, I can give her a little bit more RPM, and I can still, you know, I still have the movement on the linkage, so that's good. However, I think this is already set right around 2700. I still got to test it, but it's more than likely already set right around 2700 because it's pretty close to what factory it's going to do wide open anyway. So moving on, this right here is too loose. I've got to tighten this a little bit, and you see there's not much there, but I think I'll be able to get it tight enough to where it won't unclip anymore. So this darn thing kept coming unclipped on me, and I need to get that bent a little bit better so that it sits in there better. But you can see the body lines. I'm gonna bring it around to the other side. We did pretty darn good as far as body lines go on this thing. I mean, there's a 426 under the hood of this. Look at that. I'm real happy with how that turned out. The little tires kind of throw me off, but I'm getting used to them. The more I look at the tractor, the more it looks all right with them. Business end here, we got a 18 438s. These are my brother's tires. He said that I could use them. I just want to try them once. I have other options, and also I'm kind of waiting for the Hazelhurst auction to see. You never know what you're going to find there. So I haven't pulled the trigger on a few of the rims and stuff that I found online, and they're so expensive right now that I'm just kind of holding off. And my brother has tires that I could borrow. I don't want to borrow them from him, but if all else fails, it's not like I won't have tires to use. But either way, I've still got to get all of this done. There'll be 2 racks of weights on here, wheelie bars. I'm probably not gonna, the hitch can be farther up in there, but I really don't want to mess with this very much. Not right now anyway, so I'm probably just gonna pull it off of that. I'll be like 4 inches too long or something like that by the end of I don't know. I'll measure and figure that out later. It ain't right, I know that, but it's probably where it's gonna be. Very happy with how the console and everything turned out on this. New steering wheel, that's the old AC emblem. Chrome paint doesn't look too bad. Doesn't really look chrome, more aluminum, but it's not bad. This right here is very cool. Matt, tell your dad thank you again. This very happy to have this on the tractor. It'll forever remind me of the season that me and your dad went back and forth with them 17s and the points. That was one of the funnest seasons pulling, so thank you much for that. I'm glad to have this on the tractor. All right, look down here. I changed the numbers in that to 5/31/91, and that's May 31st, 1991. That is the birth date of a friend of mine that passed away late last year. He's in a car accident, and yeah, you don't need the details, just know that he passed away way too early. But he was a good friend of mine. He helped me out getting started on the farm here a lot. He actually, even though I couldn't pay him at the time, I'm just getting started out. One occasion that I know of for sure, he decided to come out here and help me get seed in the ground and didn't go to work and got fired, knowing that I didn't have anything to give him, you know. And that's the type of person he was. But I never forget that. I said, Mike, what is wrong with you? You know, I kept my seed in the ground, man. Why are you... It's not exactly easy to find a job right now. I mean, at that point it wasn't, but yeah, but yep, he did. And he offered to do it a couple more times too. Oh, I just won't go to work. I said, Mike, no, we're not doing this again, man. That's you come out and help if you can, man. I appreciate it. But he was really into the pulling. He helped build Tom's 17 with the 301. Just a couple times he showed up at the right time. He helped us lug the engine into it the 10 times while we were grinding the thing out. If you guys watched that series, you probably seen him. He was the bigger guy that came. He just kind of came and grabbed the front end of that 301 and was just like a toy. Was like, oh, it's going in there. But that was Big Mike. So anyway, I'm naming this tractor is going to be named Big Mike. When I get it painted, I'll have a mural, some sort of airbrush on the side of it in loving memory of Michael Pals Jr. was his name. And I think down the side, it's going to say Big Mike. This year, I'm just going to get some stencils, and I'm going to use aluminum paint, and I'm going to stencil Big Mike on the side, both sides of it. It'll be ugly as can be, but it'll be cool. So, yeah. Moving on. Yeah, what else is there to talk about here, guys? I bet you guys want to see this thing fire up. Bet you guys want to see this thing fire up. And really, I want to see it fire up too. It's been inside in the heated garage every time that we've started it. This is the first time that it'll be outside cold. Oh, that's what else I want to talk about. If you guys notice this right here, obvious signs of something not burning correctly inside. Well, from the first time we started it, if you guys noticed, something wasn't quite right with it. Like, oh, okay, what is it? There wasn't anything metallic, you know, there wasn't any knocking. You could tell that it wasn't anything, you know, metal on metal that I had to worry about, that we did something wrong on the internals of it. So what in the world is going on? So we first found out we had a leaky injector, which, whatever, that first time for everything. I've never come across it, but we just literally tightened it down. Probably not the correct way to fix it, obviously. Take it out, clean it. We just tightened it down, whatever. Pulling tractor, it'll be fine. So that solved that problem. The next day we started it up. You know, it solved the problem, but it wasn't quite right. At a certain RPM, you could get it, it sounded just great. But then above that RPM, there was just a little bit of a miss. Below that RPM, there's a little bit of a miss. So then the next day we started up, which was yesterday morning, and it was very clearly only firing on 5 cylinders. So before I could even get to it, Bob's out here. He says, oh, you know, like, oh, that one's hot. That one's hot, you know, and I'm watching him and he gets to this one. Dead cylinder. All right, shut her down. And I had to go torch out a bolt for a friend of mine. But while I was gone, he came out, changed. I have a whole nother set of Bosch injectors. They're my dad's injectors. And I was joking with him. I said, don't tell Dad that, you know, whatever. I'll get the one fixed and replace it. It's fine. But had a whole nother set of injectors. So he switched the injector while I was gone. I came back, the thing just runs great. So I'm curious to see how it's going to start up today. Like I said, it was in the lower 30s last night, and it's I don't know. I'll tell you what temperature it is here. I'll look on my phone before I start it up. It's got to be like 45 or so, though. It's getting nice. But here we go. Let's see how she fires. One more thing I didn't talk about: steering shaft. I welded this together, extended that down, welded that on there. Bob built that stopper for me. I just welded it together, or that holder bracket, and it goes down into that WD front end. It actually steers very well, way nicer than I expected it to. Going down the road, it's no problem using the spinner, no problem, just driving it. Now sitting, you got to grab her with both wheels and give her a crank, but it's not a lot harder than just steering a WD, actually. And driving down the road, you really don't notice a difference. Also, it's currently 48 degrees, so not exactly a cold start. It's a cool start, we'll call it. That last clip that you got there, but you heard it missing and everything, and me being all paranoid thinking that something ain't working right. It's because of how it turned out yesterday morning. But anyway, it warmed up and it cleared up. It's just fine. I don't know, it needs to be broke in. One last thing that I need to do to the cockpit. I figured I'd wait and do this with you guys. Well, maybe. There we go. Oh, let me guess, it doesn't fit or something, right? There we go. There. Brand new bulb. I'll keep this one just in case. Here we are. Set you down and take a little ride. I try to play with it to get her to pop out of gear, and it doesn't. I've tried different gears, I've tried going down the hill, all that fun stuff. It doesn't pop out of gear, doesn't pop out of high or low. Everything is really tight when it comes to this thing, like, and you can hear how it grabs the engine. It's nice. Something needs to happen right here. When I move them tires in, they're gonna be right next to that, like my foot's gonna be hitting them. That's kind of scary. Something's gotta happen there. I think we'll call that a video. We're gonna take the time right now to thank everybody for watching this series. I really appreciate it, all the support that you guys have given, and positive feedback on the project, and interest has made this a lot of fun, more fun than it would have been just building the thing anyway. So special thanks to Bob and my brother Chris and McConnell Machine Shop, Fast Turn Machine Shop. They all helped me out quite a bit, and even though I told them that it wasn't a priority, I mean, they were on top of it. Both of them companies, when I brought them something, it was a couple of days. Crank took a couple of days at both places. Just amazing, amazing network around here. And I gotta give a shout out to everybody out there. Like I said, I hope everybody enjoyed this episode. I hope everybody enjoyed the series. I had a lot of fun recording it. Had a lot of fun building the tractor, having more fun driving it. So I hope you guys enjoyed the ride. And, you'll be seeing more of this summer, obviously. But show you guys the cover crop out there is greening up. Plow day is going to be coming. I'll have an announcement on that here within the next month. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope to catch you all on the next one.